Hi children, how are you all? I hope you all are doing fine. So today, welcome to my second session of control and coordination. So let us see what we studied in the first session and then continue to the next concepts. So in the first session, in the control and coordination chapter, we studied how the plants have this chemical coordination. Along with that, we also studied about the phytohormones and also the trophic movements in the plants. Today's session, we are going to study about endocrine glands and the types of endocrine glands and also its importance and its functions. Now, we will have a little bit of revision of the previous class. Whatever we studied in the previous session, we will have a revision in that. Here a plant is bending towards sunlight, you call it as phototropism or it is called as Dyuti Anuvartane in Kannada. There are several tropic movements meant for growth. So, the first one you learnt is phototropism. Next we will see geotropism, that is the roots are growing towards the earth. So, this is geotropism, and next we will see hydrotropism. In this the roots are growing towards water. So, you call it as hydrotropism, or hydro means water, tropism means growth or moving towards that. Here I have also showed you that here not only hydrotropism, geotropism is also seen. The roots are growing towards the earth. So, even that is present. Next important thing is chemotropism, the movement of the plant body towards the chemicals. Here you can see the pollen tube is slowly moving towards the ovary where it meets the ovules. The pollen tube contains the male nucleus and the ovules have the female nucleus. For the sake of reproduction, this chemotropism is taking place. You just see the video and enjoy it. So, children, you saw what are the functions of phytohormones. Some hormones help in growth, whereas some hormones inhibit the growth. Some hormones help in the growth of the stem, some in the growth of the leaves, some in the growth of the fruitification, some in falling of the leaves, some help in ripening of the fruits. So, like this there are so many hormones. Let us see how each hormone functions. So, we will see what are the hormones that are present. Here you find auxins present. These auxins are hormones which are present in the tip of the stem, or what happens here is when the stem grows towards the sunlight, that is mainly because the auxins will move away from the sunlight and they will help in the elongation of the cells which are present away from the sunlight. So, what happens naturally, the stem tip will slowly bend towards the sun. So, this is one type of auxin. Next we will see gibberellins. In the gibberellins, what happens? There are nodal regions between the leaves. So, at the axil of the leaf you find nodal region. Between two nodes, whatever is present, that cells will grow and the length of the stem increases. So, gibberellins help in the growth of the stem, it helps in elongation of the stem. Next we will see cytokinins. As the name itself suggests, cyto means cell, kinins means division. So, one cell will divide into 2, 2 into 4. So, like this it helps in the growth of overall plant body. If it divides laterally, the girth will increase. If it divides vertically, the height and depth will increase. So, the cytokinins help in growth of the plant. Next we will see another type of hormone, that is abscisic acid. In Kannada it is called as abscisic amla. What happens is it inhibits the growth of parts of the plant. Here you can see many leaves have fallen, many fruits have fallen. That is mainly because the cells near the place of, that is because the leaves which are old, they dry up and they die and fall off. This is done by abscisic acid. So, like this, these hormones play a very important role. Let us see what we will study in endocrine glands. First of all, we are going to study different types of endocrine glands. Next, we will be studying about the importance and functions of endocrine glands. So, first of all, what are these endocrine glands? They are also called as ductless glands. Let us go into the detail of it. Now, let us see how this coordination takes place. Now, whenever something is thrown at you, you immediately go back. That is because it is responding to stimuli. So, what are the different parts that help this? First of all, the first part that helps is the sense organs. All the 5 sense organs, you see something or you hear something like that. So, you react to that. Next one is your brain, it processes it, and the neurons responsible to convey the message through impulses. You also see spinal cord, that one also will send the impulses, and the different types of endocrine glands. So, all these together along with nervous system and associated parts, there will be a control on all these activities, coordination among them, and they react to respond to stimuli. So, because of all these activities, you can coordinate, you can react to something, you can act to something. So, this is very important. Now, we will study about nervous system and other parts in the later on sessions. So, today we will study about endocrine glands. First, let me tell you where they are, then I will tell you what they are. So, here if you look at a human body, there are several parts which we consider them as endocrine glands. So, the first one we will see is near the brain. Below the brain there is a small organ size of a peanut, you call it as pituitary gland. This is the most important gland. So, you can see how small it is the size of a pea or peanut. Next is in the neck region, you find one gland surrounding the neck, you call it as thyroid gland. So, this is second most important gland. Next, in the kidneys, if you look at the kidneys, above the kidneys you find a few glands, you call them as adrenal glands. Okay. Next, you find pancreas, even that is an endocrine gland. So, pancreatic gland, or you call it as islets of Langerhans. I will tell you how it is different. Next, if you look at the male and female differently, in the male you find testis, in the female you find ovary. These two are nothing but gonads, even they are endocrine glands. So, you find several endocrine glands or ductless glands. Now, let us see into each one of them in detail, and I will also tell you what is a gland. From the time I am telling you endocrine gland, endocrine gland. So, let us see what is a gland. So, here what is a gland? Gland is nothing but a specialized cell or specialized group of cells. These glands which are present in the part, they will secrete some special chemical substances. You call them as chemical messengers, or you also call them as hormones. These hormones then that are secreted, they are in the form of a fluid, but when they have to move through something, they have to work in some other part, but for their movement there is no duct. So, without the help of a duct they move, hence you call them as ductless glands. It is also called endocrine glands. Endo means inside, crine secretion. So, it happens inside secretion. So, what is this inside secretion? Where does this secretion move? Of course, it moves through the blood. So, the blood is the most important transport system which carries these hormones. So, where should it work? It works in specified parts. In this picture, let us say I have taken the stomach. So, here the target organ is the stomach. So, it is secreted in one place, it is transported by blood, finally, its target organ is a different one. Hence, they are called as endocrine glands. See, these hormones are very important for some specific functions to take place. So, now let us study about each gland in detail. Now, first we will come to the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is present below the brain in the frontal region, you can see that. So, that is the pituitary gland, it is present in the frontal portion below the brain. So, the size is very small. Though the size is small, it has lots of important functions. Let us see what their functions are. Now, this pituitary gland, it controls all the other endocrine glands. See, it controls the thyroid, it controls the pancreas, it controls the adrenal gland, it controls the gonads, that is the male testis and the female ovary. So, it controls all this and coordinates with them. So, that is why pituitary gland is just like a master in the music, is like a master during music, how he guides the entire orchestra. There may be a guitarist, flutist, drummer. So, he will guide everybody by swinging a wand. So, like that pituitary gland, you consider it as the master gland, do not you think so? It controls all the other glands, you call it as master gland. Now, let us see what are its functions. So, these pituitary glands secrete the hormones, okay? You call that hormone as growth hormone GH. Not only growth hormone, it secretes several hormones. So, let us see the main function of this growth hormone. It usually helps in the growth, as the name itself suggests, growth hormone, the physical growth. So, you can see the picture here, it helps in the growth of the human being. Not only the physical growth, it also helps in mental growth. So, working with a computer, playing Rubik's cube, playing chess, all those are works of the brain. Not only that, whatever you think, everything is mental growth only. So, it controls all that is responsible for growth. Now, if there is any abnormality in the secretion of these hormones, what will happen? See, hormones have to be secreted in appropriate amount. If it becomes more, you call it as hypersecretion. So, hypersecretion results in its own disadvantage. The person will suffer from so many disorders. If it is less also, he will suffer from so many disorders. You call it as hyposecretion. Hyper means more, hypo means less. So, because of variation in the secretion, he will suffer from so many problems. He will have hormonal imbalances. Because of that, there will be so many problems. So, you understood it should be very, very appropriate. Just imagine these hormones act just like salt to your food. The salt should be added correctly. In case you add more salt, the food will become saltish. You cannot eat it. If the salt content is less, it will be tasteless. It is bland. You cannot eat again. Similarly, the hormones also should be secreted in appropriate amounts. If the pituitary gland before puberty, that is when a child becomes an adult, in between stage, the transition stage, that you call it as puberty, before puberty, if there is hypersecretion, then the person suffers from an abnormality called gigantism. You can see the person, you can see how tall he is. That means whoever is tall, are they abnormal? No, it is not like that. They will be disproportionate, the body parts will be disproportionate. So, then he will suffer from gigantism. If the hormone secretion is less, he will suffer from dwarfism. So, let us see what happens if the hormone secretion is less. You can see the person here, the secretion is less. So, he will be very short. In Kannada you call it as kubjate, gigantism you call it as daityate. So, before puberty, these are the problems you face. By having appropriate treatment, you can solve all these problems. Now, we will see the next gland, that is thyroid gland. Where is it? It is in the neck region surrounding the neck. You see the picture, you can see here, it is the thyroid gland. So, what does this thyroid gland do? It secretes a hormone called thyroxine. See, each gland is special. Pituitary gland is a master gland. So, let us see what this thyroid gland will do. This thyroid gland secretes thyroxine. If it has to be secreted in appropriate amounts, you need iodine. Where do you get this iodine? Of course, iodized salt. The government has promulgated a law that the salt you are selling, it should be fortified with iodine. So, this iodized salt is important. In coastal regions, the people who have seafood, they will have enough of iodine, but what about the other people who are not in the coastal region? For their rescue, this iodized salt is present. Let us see what are the functions of this thyroid gland. See, this thyroid gland, it helps in metabolism. What is metabolism? The sum total chemical reactions that are taking place in our body, you call it as metabolism. Not only that, it also helps in the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins and also fats in the body. And also, most important of all, it helps in a balanced growth. Balanced growth means the parts of the body should be proportional and it should be fine. Hence, it is called as personality hormone. If there is any disproportionality in that, there is some problem in thyroid secretion. So, when there is hyposecretion of this hormone, the person will suffer from disorder called goiter. So, what happens is, if the iodine content is less, the thyroid gland cannot secrete enough of thyroxine. So, there will be a bulge or swelling of the thyroid gland to pump lots of thyroxine. So, this problem is called as goiter. By proper medication it can be solved. So, next we will study about another gland, that is the pancreas. Pancreas is a special gland, it is a dual gland, mixed gland. That means it is having ductless gland, you call it as islets of Langerhans. So, the ductless glands are present. So, you also find pancreatic glands, they help in secretion of several enzymes during digestion. These ductless glands, what do? They secrete a hormone called insulin, okay, and also glucagon. If there is variation in the secretion of insulin, if it is not secreted properly, the person will have a problem called diabetes mellitus, and what happens is there is glucose in his urine. So, during the excretion of urine you find glucose in that is why it is called as sugar disease, diabetes, etc. So, what are the symptoms that he faces is he will have frequent thirst, he will also have sweating, fatigue. So, if he is not taken care of, then he will face several problems. So, he has to be treated very well, like he is administered insulin injection. So, like that you can cure him. Next we will go to another important gland, that is the adrenal gland. These adrenal glands, as the name itself suggests, renal means kidney, ad means above. Above the kidney it is present, and if you look in this picture you can see like they are present as triangular cap like structures. You call them as adrenal glands. These glands, they will help in secretion of a hormone called thyroxine. It is called as emergency hormone. So, what does it do? Here what happens? Here there is an emergency situation, that is an elephant is chasing them. So, they are frightened. So, they are running. So, what happens? First of all, his pupil gets dilated, he is excited. Next, he will have a rapid heartbeat rate. Next, his rapid breathing, he will be heavily breathing, his blood pressure may increase. So, here what happens is, not only in those situations when a person is angered or when he is in depression, in all these cases, not only that fear, anxiety, all these cases, this to control these emotions and to keep the person healthy, this emergency hormone adrenaline is secreted. It helps in 3 F's, that is fright, fight, flight. So, escaping from the enemy, fright when you are frightened, then when you fight. In all these situations, to keep you safe, this is secreted. So, it is called as emergency hormone. Children, till now you learnt about emergency hormone adrenaline. Now, let us see the gonads. One is the male reproductive system, the gonad is testis. In the female reproductive system, the gonad is ovary. So, what does it do? So, testis will produce sperms, ovary will produce ova with the help of several hormones. So, you can see in this picture the sperms are present and the sperms are surrounding the egg or the ova. So, these two are the gametes or the sex cells which are produced mainly by the hormones. So, when they fertilize, the further process will take place. So, this is the main sexual property or the reproductive property of the organisms. You call this is the primary character. For supporting this, you need several secondary sexual characters. That secondary sexual characters are obtained during a stage called puberty, and that stage you call it as adolescence. Adolescence is a stage wherein a child becomes an adult, this transition period is called as adolescence, that is usually high school children. So, lot of changes takes place during this time. So, what are the secondary sexual characters that take place in male? Let us see. You can see the picture here. He is having a moustache which is just coming out. You can see slightly hair coming as beard. So, all these are mainly because of androgens. Androgens are a set of several hormones like testosterone, etc. In the female, secondary sexual characters are mainly because of a group of hormones called estrogens. So, estrogens have estradiol, progesterone, luteinizing hormone, lactating hormone, like that several hormones are there. See, for example, the formation of pimples, all those are some of the secondary sexual characters. Let us see a few more of them. Most important thing is the change in voice. In the females, when they are in their childhood, you will not be able to identify whether they are male or female, whereas when they become adults, they will have a pitch voice. You can identify them. Similarly, in male, first we cannot identify, but later on they will have a thick, husky bass voice, and also they will have development of Adam's apple. Now, if you look at here, a kid, a small kid, after reaching second picture is after reaching puberty and finally adulthood. You can see the change in height, you can see the musculature, curvature of the body, development of various parts of the body, and also development of hair. All these are responsible for secondary sexual characters. You can see in puberty. Next we will come to secondary sexual characters in male. You can see a small kid, the same kid after reaching adulthood, you can see moustache, beard, Adam's apple, a thick husky voice, height increase, and you can find musculature developed. So, all these are secondary sexual characters which help for their reproductive behavior. I hope you understood the concepts behind these endocrine glands, how they work and what do they do, what is its importance, etc. Now we will go to a small homework. Let us see what you can do. Name the hormones responsible for sexual characters in males and females. Also list out the functions of these hormones. Next, what are the functions of insulin? Now I want you to do a small activity. List the secondary sexual characters in males and females during puberty. So, it is quiz time. I want you to think and answer. A person suffers from diabetes mellitus due to the hyposecretion of this gland: pituitary, adrenal, thyroid and pancreas. So, the answer for this is pancreas. Next, we will go to another question. Dwarfism occurs due to hyposecretion of this hormone. So, the hormones are growth hormone, adrenaline, thyroxine and insulin. So, the answer is yes, as the name itself suggests, growth hormone, dwarfism. Okay. I hope you have understood everything. I want you to study this chapter and do well in the exams. Thank you, one and all.